Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. We're back for part 2 of this Pruning 3 Ficus series. Today I'll be working on my Ficus microcarpa, a cutting of a cutting. This is a cutting off my very first bonsai, that big umbrella style Ficus microcarpa that I have. This tree was growing in a 3D printed pot, one of the first 3D printed pots I ever made. And it was made of PLA plastic, the biodegradable plastic, and it did degrade. So I put it into a larger pot, and my idea was to grow this tree a little larger, more as a, in between a small and medium-sized bonsai. And it's grown really well in the new pot. You can see it's filled out really nicely. And today I'm going to prune it back. In part 1 of this video, I totally defoliated my Vietnam-style Ficus microcarpa, and then I pruned it, and then all the new leaves will have to grow in. On this tree, I can see all the structure in here quite clearly. It's not that dense that I need to defoliate it. So I'll leave what foliage I can on the tree and just prune it back to size. To thicken up trunks and branches, you need growth on those areas of the tree. So I've got to decide before I start pruning, are there any branches or trunk lines that I want to leave the extended growth on to help thicken up that area. I do have a lot of scars on the trunk down here where I pruned off some of those lower branches, kind of converting the tree from a small tree to more of a medium-sized tree. It's pretty heavy scarring, so if I leave a shoot on the top of the tree to grow tall, it'll help heal those cuts and thicken the trunk up. I'm looking at the upper structure of the tree, and I've got 3 major branches, maybe 4 if you include the one at the back. So this is the natural trunk line of the tree up here, and I've got some branches off to the side that would form my crown. Those upright kind of branches or trunks that form the start of the umbrella canopy. So I've got to kind of thicken everything up equally. So I think when I do prune this back in height, I think I should do it all equally, because all these branches are a fairly even thickness at the moment, and I'll want to keep it that way. I don't want one trunk line dominating. So I think, the repairs to the lower part of the trunk, it'll just happen over time. They'll slowly disappear, all those pruning scars. I do want to style this tree like a tropical tree with a nice umbrella canopy on the top. So I'm going to take everything down equally. I have a branch here that crosses everything else. This long straight branch here. It's growing directly towards the other branch here. So I've got to take that right off. It's just not growing in a good place. So here I go. There's that branch taken right off. There's a stub in here I can clean up from the last pruning. Like that. That cleans that out a little bit. There is a dead branch at the back here, right here, that I can take out. I just broke off. There's a stub I can clean up here, like that. Now I'll start pruning these branches back. So I'm looking for leaves that are fanning out from the center of the tree. I'll have to take it back to here. Tip off that branch to here. Now at the back I've got 3 branches here, all growing from about the same spot on the trunk. So I've got to see if I want any of them. No, I don't think I want any of those branches, because I have all my major subdivisions of the trunk up higher. I don't need any branches down lower, so they're all going to come off. Like that. That cleans up the trunk line, and then I have this division where I form my crown on the tree. I'm going to prune this one back. This branch is kind of stiff. It has a straight section, another straight section. I'll prune it back to here. I'll prune this one back to here. I have On this branch here, I have it come up and there's a vertical section here. I could prune that off and develop it more as a horizontal branch instead of that vertical part, and I will. So I'll take off this whole upper section here. So here I go. Like that, that's gone. So yeah, it's getting cleaned up nicely. Now I've got a trunk line here that needs pruning back. Just trying to decide where to prune it. I think I'd go right back to here. So here I go, big cut. There's a top coming off that. There's a branch here. This branch here, this one right here, kind of crosses in front of the design. I think it would look better without it, so everything kind of fans out. So I'm going to remove that completely. Here I go, like that. That opens up the front of the tree a little more. I can prune this one down in height here, like that. There's a dead branch here. I can remove that. Must have got shaded out down there, like that. I can reduce this apex down to here, like that. Now at the back here, I've got a absolute vertical branch coming off here. I'm just cleaning up a stub here, another stub here. I gotta decide, do I want that vertical branch? I think I do. I think I want to prune it back to this leaf that's kind of facing towards the left-hand side of the tree. So I'll take it back to here, like that. Kind of filling in something in this part of the canopy. There's kind of a spot there where there's not much branching. Just cleaning up some stubs here. Now over in this side of the tree, I've got a nice kind of horizontal branch here, and then a vertical part here that kind of interferes with these two branches. I think it would look better without this vertical part, so I'm going to take that right off. I'm wondering, yeah, to here, like that. Cleaning up that canopy. And then this one, I've got some nice horizontal branches or leaves here, so I'll prune it back to here, like that. And the back here, I'll take the tip off this branch. Like that. So that cleans up a lot of my structure. There's an old leaf on the inside here, I'll remove that. Just kind of cluttering up the interior of the tree. There's another one over here. Take that one off. I'm thinking this branch here, it's kind of stiff. It's got some very straight sections. I have a lot of leaves down here. I could prune it off shorter because it does kind of come up. I like all this part of the upper canopy structure that'll form my crown of my tree, but I think this one needs to be reduced so it's more horizontal and doesn't stick up into the canopy so much. So I'm going to cut it off. I've got two nice leaves fanning out here, so if I take it off just above there, I think it'll improve the overall look of the canopy of the tree. So big cut, big cut. Here I go. Just like that. Yeah, I think I may even reduce it back to this leaf once new branches start growing in. But I think that'll be an improvement for the tree. Now I've got to deal with all the foliage and branching off of this low side branch, which I've kept on. I've debated many times taking it off, but I've always kept it because it gives the tree kind of a unique style, and I kind of like it. So I'm going to take it off. I've got some good leaves kind of fanning out here that I can reduce it back to. So I'll take it off here. Taking the tip off. Maybe even back a little further to there. I've got a branch kind of coming out front here, which I don't really like, because if you imagine the canopy of this tree, it kind of gets in that space of the canopy. I'm thinking of removing it or shortening it quite a bit. I'll shorten it for starters. Here. Taking the tip off. And I'll finish pruning up the rest of it, and then I'll come in and decide, what branches I want to keep on this side branch. There is a dead part of it here that I'll take off, right here. So I'll remove that. Must have got shaded out. And then I'll take all these shoots back. So I will go back to here and here, 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 and back to here. Now I've got to take a look at it and see if I like the side branch or if it needs more work. I've got a major division here where the side branch forks at the base here. I'm wondering, do I need both? Tough decisions. What to do with that side branch there? What branches? It's kind of nice having it coming forward here. It gives a bit more depth to the side branch. There's a vertical shoot in here, you can see it from this view, right here, that I think doesn't look so good. So I'm going to take that off. Doesn't really flow outwards nicely. That's the back. I think this side branch is getting too tall and long, so I think I've got to cut it back. If I'm going for taper, I would cut off this whole part here that's sticking up. I think I should. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this whole part of this branch off. So here I go. Like that. And then I want to reduce this back further, so I'm going to go back to here. And I think I like this part of the branch, but it's kind of sticking up too much. I'm going to get rid of it too. Like that. That keeps this side branch kind of lower and more compact, so it doesn't overpower the main canopy of the tree. And I may even hard prune it back even shorter in the future. Yeah, that might come in the future. Just like this one might get shorter. So these scars, these major pruning scars I did here, they're healing over quite well, which is good. I think in a few years they'll just kind of disappear and blend in. All right, I'll take a final look at the tree from the distance and see what I think of it. I'll rotate the tree around. The right side. Some more root correction to do with the next repotting. I'm still working on the root system. There's the back, which is a nice back, nice and smooth. Could be the front someday. Over to the left side. And back to the front. And I think the front would be rotated a bit so you can see this branch a little more. Maybe somewhere around there. I think the tree has a good foundation to build on. I like the upper canopy structure. I think that's developing really nicely. The trunk, it's hard to love the trunk when I got those big scars on it, but they will go away. They're closing up rapidly. This side branch, it gives something, like the tree kind of, it's almost a slanting tree. The apex is kind of over to this side and the base of the tree is over here. So I think this branch over this side kind of gives it some balance, and I think that'll be important in the future to keep that branch there. Far from being finished, but I think it's a good start to this tree. I think I'll just prune that tip off a bit more here. I think that was just a little bit too high. There, I think that looks better on that back branch. It was starting to get a little too long and straight and dominant. I think it needed a bit of cutting back. That looks much better. I have one more tree to prune up in this series, my Ficus microcarpa, the large one that I call Fancy. I'm happy with the pruning work on my Ficus cutting of a cutting today. I think it turned out quite nice. I like the upper structure. I think it's developing quite nicely, and I think it'll just keep getting better in the future. That's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.